So if Uhuru brings Matiangi, it's not that he loves Matiangi so much or believes in Matiangi so much. It will just be, that is one way of fighting Gachagua. If Gachagua stands or brings Kalonzo for that matter, or Natembeya, or whoever it is, it's not because they love Natembeya or Eugene or anybody else, or they think they can work better for this country. It is our way of dealing with Uhuru Kenyatta. The Mother Karua event would have waited. The fact that it didn't wait, and all the principles were in that Mother Karua event, when Matiangi was almost being unveiled, speaks volumes about the so-called unity.
Tired of the same old shopping experience? Step into a smarter way to shop with Whiteson Group, Kenya's go-to online store for quality you can trust. From gadgets and homeware to everyday essentials, we deliver convenience right to your door. Fast shopping, secure payments, and top-notch customer care, all in one place. Visit whitesongroup.com today. Whiteson Group, simple, reliable, delivered.
Very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candid Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evan Sokinyi. It's my pleasure to have you on board. I'm here with Prof. Herman Manyora. Prof, how are you?
I'm good.
Yes. How is everything right now?
Everything is okay. Yeah.
You can see how NDCs are happening across the country.
Yes. The political temperatures are rising.
Yes.
But we are doing well. Yes.
I saw at the time you're telling me that you don't remember Mother Karua's party because it's PLP.
I really don't know. I knew NAK Kenya. This other one I don't know. PP something.
PLP, the People's Liberation Party.
Oh, People's Liberation Party.
Yes.
Then this mine with PLO. PLO,
Okay.
Palestinian Liberation Organization, something like that. So People's Liberation Party.
Yes.
Good.
The current party led by Mother Karua. They had the NDC at that time, of course. At the same time, an NDC was also taking place of the Jubilee Party, and a lot of information came from that particular event. But then, one thing that is actually being questioned here, first of all, do you think that there is some sort of a bad blood between the former President Uhuru Kenyatta and the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua with respect to the control and influence in the mountain?
It's beginning to emerge now. It has been under. We've been suspecting it would be there or it could be there, but now it's getting to the surface.
Yes.
Utterances from both sides tell you that clearly there's something not quite right between the two. Yeah.
There has been that sort of attempt to, rather, the other side, of course, of Rigathi Gachagua feels that the former president should actually be able to handle over the mantle of leadership of that particular region to Rigathi Gachagua and maybe crown him, so to say, the kingpin of the mountain.
This is power.
How do you weigh in that?
Power. People don't hand over power to others. Yeah. Even when you see a ceremony of handover, a lot has taken place or a lot is going on. If you see somebody handing over power to somebody, no, I'm not talking about through a democratic process, like Uhuru handing over to Ruto. I'm not talking about that. Handing over in the manner in which you are suggesting.
Yes.
That Uhuru Kenyatta should hand over to who did you say? To Rigathi
Gachagua.
It never works like that. If you see it happening, either Gachagua will have fought for it to a point Uhuru can't resist and therefore is handing over. Or Uhuru Kenyatta will, because of certain circumstances, be unable to continue and is therefore handing over but to a puppet. Power is never given. Power you grab. The most difficult thing is power. In human affairs, in power relations, you realize that power is not given anywhere. Even in your house, you are going to get married soon, I hope. You realize that there are power games in your house. Your wife will also want power, and in time you will have children. There will be a contestation for power between you and your children, between you and your wife. That's how human... So there are always conflicts in society because of this power. and therefore no power is given, even in your house. If you are the traditional man, you want to be the man who talks. Don't think your wife will just sit ground. Culture, tradition, and other things and incomes may help you to manage the situation. But still, you have to be assertive. You have to assert your power in your house, your authority, even to your children. Children will also want to manipulate you. When I say my character development, they will also want to manipulate you. So how much more so at a national level? So I don't buy this nonsense of saying that Uhuru should hand over power to anybody. Anybody who wants to be the Mount Kenya kingpin, go for it. Yeah, and it's not restricted to Gachagua and Uhuru. Moses Kuria is there. Ndindi Nyoro is there.
Okay. So
Mutai Kagwe, my friend, is there. They are all there. I have many
like
friends there who are capable.
So many people from that particular region who are capable.
Let them go for it. It's not given.
Okay.
No.
But what do you think could be causing, or rather fueling the rift between the two factions now?
Of course, you can't have two cockerels in the same compound. Yeah, they are fighting over control of Mount Kenya. That's it. Yeah, and they're just using they could just be using their puppets. They are pawns and whatever it is. So if Uhuru brings Matiangi, it's not that he loves Matiangi so much or believes in Matiangi so much. It will just be that is one way of fighting Gachagua. If Gachagua stands or brings Kalonzo for that matter, or Natembeya, or whoever it is, it's not because they love Natembeya or Eugene or anybody else, or they think they can work better for this country. It is our way of dealing with Uhuru Kenyatta. So that's how power works. Yeah.
And talking of Matiangi, what do you think is has his candidacy? Or rather, he said that he'll be there on the ballot. We wonder whether he'll actually secure that particular opposition ticket to carry the flag. But then here it is. How much do you think of a factor is his presence in this particular faction here? How is his presence there causing this rift and division?
I said something about Matiangi. Some people didn't want to listen to me.
Yes.
And then I said another thing about Matiangi. People stood up, including Matiangi himself. Maybe he may not have been happy with me. And now I want to say another one. First, I said the presidency was for Matiangi's for the taking. It was for him to lose the presidency. Matiangi was the person on everybody's lips. Matiangi was the Gen Z candidate. Matiangi was everything. That's the first thing I said. Not many people agreed with me. Then I said later, when Matiangi came and appeared on Citizen TV, he was underwhelming. And when I followed him in rallies, wherever he moved, interaction, everything about him was underwhelming. So I concluded that there was a discrepancy between the Matiangi that had been in the minds of people and the Matiangi that came on the ground. The Americans say, when the rubber meets the road. So there was a rubber Matiangi somewhere when he was in America. When the rubber met the road, when Matiangi came, there was something not quite right. That's what I said. And then now, I want to say a third thing. That you can see what I said was right, because Matiangi was the main factor. And today, he has become the common enemy of the joint opposition. They are saying it openly. You look at their deeds and actions. Even the Mother Kalua PLP NDC,
Yes.
and the Uhuru Kenyatta NDC. I'm not sure which came first, but if these people were not fighting each other, they could not have held the two events on the same day. I want to believe, given the stature of Uhuru Kenyatta in this country, and given the wars Jubilee has gone through, being fought, eventually winning in the courts, and that most likely theirs came first, given all these factors, there is even just, if nothing else, the respect to be accorded to Uhuru Kenyatta. The Mother Karua event would have waited. The fact that it didn't wait, and all the principles were in that Mother Karua event, when Matiangi was almost being unveiled, speaks volumes about the so-called unity And it confirms the third thing I'm saying today, which is that Matiang'i has become the common enemy. His colleagues don't trust him. So he must now ask himself, if I am not anybody's project, because that I don't know, it is quite possible it's a project of Uhuru Kenyatta or a project of William Ruto. It's possible. Only Matiang'i knows if he's not a project. If he knows he's not a project, he's his own man. If he knows he desires good for this country and he has the capacity to do that good, if he knows he can withstand pressure, this is the time for him now to deal with the opponents. He must craft a strategy that exploits this exclusion from the other opposition leaders. Once again, it is not in reference to Matiang'i. I've said it in reference to all these politicians. They have never known how to identify advisors and strategists. Either they are dealing with the tribesmen or conmen or, buccaneers, these brokers. Political brokers are all over. Say you want to run for MP somewhere, where do you come wrong? Awendo, and see how many brokers will appear on the scene. This is the time for him to answer those two questions. Is he a project? If the answer is no, the next question is, how will he exploit? Because in politics, any situation can be turned into an advantage. Any.
Okay.
So the situation Matiang'i now has to deal with is one where the other opposition leaders don't want him, don't trust him. That is an opportunity in politics. But that kind of opportunity cannot be exploited by these busybodies who surround the politicians. He has to look for people who can think through situations. Yeah, that's the third thing I've said about Matiang'i. I hope there will be another better thing I'll say in future.
Yes. When you look at his candidature so far, and I know we've had this conversation with you before, and it was said back then that he seems to come into the limelight as maybe a project of Uhuru Kenyatta, something that you've just said here, that he has to come out and prove to the entire country that he's not a project. But then either way, he has to seek that particular support from the central region.
Of course, Matiang'i cannot become president without Mount Kenya voting for him. A friend of mine called me yesterday after a long time, a very senior politician from Mount Kenya. Extremely senior and very, very influential. He called me and he told me, among other things, that Matiang'i will become president because Mount Kenya will support him to a man. Whether that will be true or not, that's another story. A story for another day.
Rigathi Gachagua, having announced that he is the best candidate for this particular seat, if you look at all the members of the United Opposition, and of course Matiang'i now being fronted for presidency, of course with the full support of the central region, if at all it comes to pass. Do you then think that this is what is actually causing this particular problem, that it doesn't actually now sit well so far with Rigathi Gachagua, that Matiang'i now has to take full control, and then he has to play second fiddle to him in this particular region?
It is. I said it before. It was always going to be tricky how Matiang'i navigated, and I advised Matiang'i. I told him, and then on this show, and maybe in private, I'm not sure. I said, now that your name is top above any other name, when you come to the country, confirm it. Just confirm you are the man. There's no other candidate. That way, even Gachagua will want to own you, to upstage Kenyatta. Because you are within an arrangement that is the so-called loyal opposition, where Gachagua has a prominent role, is a prominent member. He will want to own you before Kenyatta owns you. You get it? But when Matiang'i came and he was underwhelming, that couldn't happen. So the job now is tougher.
So we are looking at Mount Kenya and we are seeing a situation whereby Fred Matiang'i is coming here as a potential political player in this particular region, although he's an outsider. And then we also have Rigathi Gachagua here. On the other side, of the eastern side, we are looking at Professor Kithure Kindiki and all those other members of parliament and leaders who are affiliated to the government. And we are looking at all this particular structure of confusion within this particular region. And the question that we are actually asking, can the mountain region afford to be disunited at this point? Can they actually afford to fail to be united at this point?
Never.
And at what cost?
Never. Never. I am increasingly coming to the conclusion, given what the mountain has gone through under Ruto, they are unlikely to throw their weight behind more than one candidate. It's going to be one. They will put their votes in one basket. The question then remains, which basket? Whose basket? And there is another factor on Mount Kenya, which the political players have to figure out. That's why I call for thinking. Once bitten,
Twice shy.
One must begin to interrogate the idea and the fear the Mount Kenya people would have with a foreigner. Foreigner in court. That's not an idle talk. That's not idle talk. That's not an idle idea. The thought of a foreigner, mtu ambaye si wa mlima, it is going to increasingly feature. And therefore, this could inform the decision to move away from somebody like Matiang'i, because he has a foreigner tag. It could also mean two things, either of the two things. One, that Gachagua will find it easier to sell Kalonzo, a cousin, a Kamba, where A has now been reintroduced to meaning to complete Gema. You know, A was association, now A is a Kamba. It will be easier with this fear of foreigner. And number two, those who think Gachagua cannot be a presidential candidate had better think twice. Had better think twice. Because that thing of foreigner, if Gachagua exploits it nicely, the Mount Kenya people may find themselves with zero option when it comes to supporting him. It will be him alone. And why? Gachagua may calculate so. I like helping these people in the opposition. But I think they're just burekabs. Because if Gachagua runs, Kalonzo will run. Matiangi will run. Somebody else, including Raila, Ruto. And there will be a runoff. In the runoff, the man with the most votes will be Gachagua. Yeah, if others are split, kila mtu anachukua yao kidogo kidogo. Ile mingi nchi hii si ya Gachagua. And you can imagine if he was running with a Luya running mate. See, they will be number one. They may not make it 50%, they will not make it. But now, they will calculate between him and now number two, who may be Ruto, who will be the lesser devil. And he can make that calculation.
Okay.
The final thing about the Mount Kenya vote is it is a vote that is gone out of Ruto's hands. So it's not a vote Ruto is looking for. You see, Ruto is looking for the Luya vote.
Okay.
Each side is looking for the Luya vote. And the Mount Kenya will really figure out.
So we Kenyans should not actually think that it would be a little bit far-fetched for Rigathi Gachagua to run. To run.
Yes. I've said this repeatedly. People stop me in the streets, they tell me you are joking. But I'll keep telling them. Just like when I tell them beating Ruto is not as easy as they think. People stop me in the streets and say, Manyora, you are dreaming.
But you told me he's had several hurdles, particularly Rigathi Gachagua himself.
Each of them has hurdles too. Each of them.
And the last hurdle that you talked about was convincing the country that he's a presidential material.
Yes. Yes.
Has he convinced, first of all,
that is the next hurdle, if he really wants.
Okay.
The moment he makes certain moves, I will tell you, he's on that journey. So far, he hasn't. Apart from saying he wants to be president, he has not done anything to convince me he's serious about that. But the things he has managed to achieve so are bigger than convincing people he can be president. Yeah.
The people who say here that, who argue that the biggest beneficiary from this particular confusion that we're witnessing within the opposition and of course even in the central Kenya with regards to the unity would be President William Ruto.
Of course. Any disunity and disorganization and confusion in the opposition benefits Ruto. We went through it in 1992. Moi made it with about 30% against about 60-something% of the united opposition. Same was repeated in 1997. And when people united against Moi in 2002, they won. So it's something we've been through. You get disorganized, fight among yourselves, you give Ruto a through pass. Yeah.
Is it possible for the former President Uhuru Kenyatta and the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and any other political player in the particular region to come forth, sit on a table, have a conversation and actually come up with a consensus on one way to go so that they avoid this particular blunders?
Of course.
That,
anything in the politics is possible. Yeah.
But up to now,
Raila is now with Ruto. Who would have imagined that? Yeah.
Raila's case is a different thing altogether.
No, it's not different. It is happening. These things are happening all the time.
For Raila, it's not the first time that
I'm not talking about Kenya. They're happening in America. They're happening in UK. They're happening everywhere. People sit down in Israel. Politics is a game of possibilities. Yes.
But
driven by interest.
Every other thing right now indicates different. We are seeing people pulling to the other side, really fighting for the soul of the mountain, and it's all about who carries the weight here, who says what, who gives direction and all that. And I fear that to some extent this may actually affect them moving forward now that we just have a period of 1 year and then we get to the next general elections.
Kenyans make this sort of decision just a couple of months before elections. We've never been making these decisions even a year before elections. 3 months, 4 months, even 2 months. Yeah. So there's time for these people to get together, for the opposition to get one candidate to be united, or for them to fail to do so. There's time. Time is there.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, weigh in and tell us what you actually think regarding what is actually taking place in this country with regards to the unity of the Mount Kenya region, and of course that extends to the unity of the opposition as well. Allow me to stop for now till we have this conversation again. Thank you for watching. My name is Evans Okinyi.